The Chevy Nova is one of those cars that has built a great reputation. Among the 5 generations that the nameplate was around, the second and third are probably the most sought after. When you look up Chevy Nova on Google, typically these are the first to pop up. The 4th gen Novas reflect the Malaise era perfectly. They were detuned like crazy. Then there's the final generation Chevy Nova, and that's when shit hit the fan. There was absolutely zero attempt to recapture the former muscle glory that the Nova once had. Well, I can't say zero because there was a performance variant offered in its final year, but it was just not the same. If you would like to skip to the 5th gen Nova, there are chapters in the description to help navigate the video along with everything else. The Novas that everyone talks about and remembers are, of course, the SS models. They look amazing, sound amazing, had one of the best power-to-weight ratios at the time, were affordable, versatile, they checked all of the boxes, mostly. I understand that the first 2 generations of Nova were really called the Chevy II. The first year of the 3rd generation was named the Chevy II as well. Come 1969, the Chevy II name was dropped and the car became known as the Nova. In 1975, the Nova was hit hard, as were a lot of the domestic cars. There was this new LN or luxury Nova trim, and according to GM, it was one of the most luxurious compacts in Chevrolet history. The image of the Nova was changing, especially in the performance department. We have to remember that the majority of the Novas sold had 6 cylinders and were typical commuters. Just what's remembered or collected are those V8 SS models. Contrary to belief, these 4th gen Novas still had an SS trim in its lineup. It was a $187 package for just the 75 and 76 models. Accent striping on the sides, black accent around the windows, black mirrors, rally wheels, black grille, SS logos, and some interior upgrades. Sounds like a bunch of cosmetic changes, but it also came with heavy-duty suspension and a rear stabilizer bar. As for the engine, it could have been a 250 inline-6 up to a 350 4-barrel V8. The most powerful was the 350, which made around 155 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. 1976 would mark the end for the Nova SS. Come 77, the package was renamed the Nova Rally. The Nova Rally was for the most part the same as the SS, apart from the chrome grille instead of black and the different striping. These 4th gen Novas would cease production in '79. It wouldn't be until 1985 when the Nova name returned. The biggest question is, why did General Motors do this? The Nova nameplate was one of the most popular American compact cars of its time. To now see the name on a Toyota just seems wrong. GM and Toyota established a partnership in a venture called New United Motor Manufacturing Incorporated, or NUMMI for short. GM was struggling to build high-quality, low-production cost, fuel-efficient compacts, as was the other domestic companies. This segment was dominated by the imports. So GM looked to Toyota for assistance in this segment. It allowed GM to learn about Toyota's production system, and for Toyota, it meant their first manufacturing base in North America, which meant avoidance of tariffs on imported vehicles. So they turned the Fremont assembly into the new NUMMI plant. The Fremont assembly plant was very chaotic before NUMMI replaced it. There were countless production problems, drug abuse, people not showing up, lack of communication between the departments. It was a mess, and so they shut down, which of course meant room for this all-new partnership. As of 2010, NUMMI shut down and the plant was bought out by Tesla, where it remains as their assembly plant. Anyway, in December of 1984, NUMMI's first car rolled off the assembly line. It was a yellow Chevy Nova, or Toyota Corolla. It does make sense from a business perspective to give this Corolla the Nova name. GM did this same kind of thing with the Pontiac Le Mans a few years later. However, from an enthusiast perspective, it completely goes back on what this car used to be. GM actually made a commercial addressing this exact question on why they chose the Nova name.
The fact that 95% of all Nova owners would recommend it is new. So, if everything about the new Chevy Nova is new, why'd we give it the same name as the old Chevy Nova? Because we like the name.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
For the first time ever, the Nova now had quad headlights, which was GM's thing during this time and also was one of the few differences compared to the Corolla. The taillights were slightly different among the two, as were the hatchbacks. The hubcaps were slightly different. The interiors were practically identical. It's a Toyota Corolla with the Nova name. Under the hood was a Toyota Source powertrain, which is to be expected. 1.6 liter good for 74 horsepower made into either a 5-speed manual or 3-speed auto. I did forget to mention one slight difference between the two. The Novas came with a slightly softer suspension that favored ride over handling. The sedans were far more popular than the 5-door hatchback, selling about 3-to-1, and some years almost 4-to-1. I think the sedans look much better as well. Those 5-door hatchbacks are a little ugly. In 1986, around 193,000 Cavalier sedans were sold to around 125,000 Novas. That generation Cavalier was introduced in '82 and on its second to last model year, and it still outsold the Nova. The Chevette in 1986 sold only about 20,000 fewer units and had been on the market for a decade by this point. Also, most people knew about their horrible quality by then. Base models started around $7,500, whereas the Cavalier started at $79 and the Chevette at $62. Pretty bare bones inside. There were only a few options that could be added. I mean, it's what's to be expected from a mid-'80s Toyota. The goal was affordability and fuel efficiency, and these did just that, just like how the prior Novas were intended. But the public was not having it. They didn't like them. Prior Novas were selling 200,000 to 300,000 models per year, these less than half that each year. To add, these Novas had a lower resale value than the Corolla, which says a lot. GM didn't try to hide the fact that this was a Corolla with Chevy badges and the Nova name.
Witness the birth of a bright new star, created through the joint effort of General Motors and Toyota. Nova, from today's Chevrolet. Nova, the best of both worlds, with room and comfort, attention to details, and responsive performance. New Nova, from today's Chevrolet. It's not just better, it's the best of both worlds.
I said earlier there was a performance variant offered, and there was for the Nova's final year. In 1988, the Nova Twin Cam was released. Consumers were getting bored with the Nova's trim options. There was no sports package offered. A lot of these economy cars had one, such as the Escort GT and Colt Turbo. Additionally, the Novas before this all had some sort of performance-driven package. This was the only one that didn't, until now. The Nova Twin Cam would set buyers back around $11,400 before options. That's around a $2,500 bump from a regular Nova. So what did you get? Well, it's in the name. There was now a double overhead cam version of that same Toyota-built 1.6. 110 horsepower, 36 more than the single cam, and 98 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in around 9.5 seconds, pretty similar to the 76 Nova SS with the 4-barrel 350 V8. This was the same engine in the Corolla FS16 and was mated into either a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic. Additionally, they came with gas shocks and springs, regular Novas didn't, anti-sway bars, disc brakes at the rear instead of drums, sports suspension, and power steering. Cosmetically, unique wheels, red striping, twin cam badging, and they only came in the color black. The interior also received some subtle upgrades, such as a leather-wrapped steering wheel. How nice. As it turns out, these didn't appeal to either Toyota fans or GM fans, as less than 3% of total sales were Nova twin cams. That's about a total production of around 3,300 units. A year later, the Nova name was dropped and hasn't been offered since. Essentially, the Nova turned into the Geo Prizm, another rebadged Toyota Corolla. I'm just slightly confused on why they gave the Geo rebadged Corolla a brand new name, Prizm, but they wanted to give this older Corolla the Nova name. It just doesn't really make any sense. The last NUMMI collaboration wouldn't end until 2009 with the Pontiac Vibe, or Toyota Matrix. A year later, General Motors filed for bankruptcy and Toyota sold the plant to Tesla. The 5th generation Nova is an oddball. I'm not really sure what to make of it. Although, I think most of us can agree that it should have never gotten the Nova name. And there you have it, guys, a brief history on the downfall of the Chevy Nova. I had no idea these existed until I made this video. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to leave a like. It helps me know what types of topics to cover. Last week, I uploaded a video on the weirdest advertisements, and, well, it appears that Nobody really liked that video, so I do apologize for that. That is going to wrap it up for me. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will try to see you all next week.